Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching X-Men 97 episode 5, and this was crazy. This this was like a movie. This is not the end of the season, but like it felt like the end of the season. That's how you would close it off, because that's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, here we go. Alright, let's go into what happened here. Okay, so basically we have the bulk of the episode where we have Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto heading to Genosha, where the UN, as we kind of heard about last episode, or even way back earlier in the season, that the UN is finally going to accept Genosha into the UN, and so it's going to be like recognized on a global scale, which is a big deal for mutant rights and mutant recognition, and that's gonna be awesome. So great, really cool. Meanwhile, you have Scott and Jean and Wolverine, and everyone is there at the mansion still, Beast and all them. They're being interviewed for just the news, right? I don't know, just a news network, being asked all these questions about what's going on with Genosha and the UN and all that stuff, and they're just sitting there at the mansion, and they're kind of, they're finally dealing with everything that happened. I mean, last week's episode was kind of a break, and we're like, okay, let's, whatever's going on here, we're just gonna take like a breather, because we need a breather. And now this episode is like, okay, let's see what's going on now. Oh boy. Okay, so I guess we'll just start with the smaller thing. So at the mansion, everyone's being interviewed. Jean is she's still trying to figure out which memories were hers, which memories belong to her clone, what was the clone's name? Oh god damn it. Anyway, clone Jean, doesn't matter. Anyways, my point is, she's still trying to figure out which memories are hers, which memories were the clones, and she's talking to Logan, and then she kisses Logan, and Logan at first he's like, whoa, but also like, no, but you're confused, and this isn't, you know what I mean? Like, this is just, it's a weird time, right? Because, like, of course, this Jean doesn't know where she stands with Scott, and Scott had a baby with the clone, and you know what I mean? And that wasn't her. Oh man, and it's really, really confusing. It's as awkward as it possibly could be for everyone involved. And of course, the interviewers just kind of grilling Scott on like, well, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And eventually, and this kind of happens later, but eventually, she even asked Scott about, like, oh yeah, and what about your son? And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't have a son, right? Because how the hell do you explain this? Oh, I left my son and he went through a future time portal, and now he's gone to the future. How do you, okay, good luck explaining that one. Anyways, so at first he lies about it, but then they're like, well, we have records that at the hospital you had a son, so what's going on? And so he just lashes out. He lashes out. It's all being recorded. Not a good look for, for like human mutant relations to have one of the X-Men, like you got everyone, oh, sorry. You got everyone on your side right now. This is not a good look, Scott, but understandable that he's he's under a lot of pressure right now. And then just sticking with the mansion stuff, what happens next? Jean walks in on Scott having a psychic conversation with the clone Jean. I can't remember what name she gave herself. Oh my god. Anyways, and basically they've been having these like little private psychic meetings, I guess you could call it. Turns out it's been happening for a couple months now while she's been elsewhere, and basically it's like, on one hand, again, it's like, well, they do have a son together and they do both miss their son, and she has all of Jean's memories, and it's unclear how long they were even together, so again, it's like, how do you even deal with this situation? So totally understand the reactions of everyone involved here, but of course Jean's really pissed off. And by the way, this is the Jean that just kissed Logan, so like it's very soap opera heavy, like it was on full blast, all the soap opera stuff, because like relationship drama out the roof, right? So anyways, all that's happening, and so basically Jean walks away, and it's their relationship's on the rocks, because it's unclear what kind of relationship they even have at this point. Oh man, what a mess, what a mess. And all of this is getting like captured on the news. Like, like they're just, the interviewer's still there and they're just like having fights in the middle of the living room. Oof. And then let's get to Genosha, right? Genosha. Wow. Okay, so everything seems great at first, right? Like they're kind of deciding like, all right, here's our leader council, and we want to elect someone as our chancellor, and they kind of say the word king for a second, and they're kind of like offering it up to Magneto, and Magneto accepts on the condition that Rogue will go with him. And of course we have this continuing Rogue and Magneto and Gambit, this triangle here that we got going on here, this love triangle. You know, and it's really weird, and Rogue finally kind of divulges everything to Gambit, explaining like when they were kind of together and when they stopped being together, and how they both kind of just started pretending like it didn't happen, which I guess is, you know, I guess that's a way to kind of retcon in a relationship from it never being mentioned before, of like, we just didn't ever bring it up, right? So, you know, okay. And then we get to the night celebrations. Everyone's dancing and everything's going on, and Rogue accepts the co-leadership position, the queen position, and it looks like she's leaving Gambit, basically. Like, Gambit's like, look, he's gonna break your heart, but, you know, we'll be friends, you do what you gotta do. Like, okay, you know, like, everyone, you know, again, soap opera, relationship drama, it's going crazy. And then we have a clone Jean. I wish I could remember what the hell the clone named herself. Anyways, clone Jean. So she starts hearing this voice, and the voice is like, turn down the music. And then she walks around, she looks around, she's like, what's happening? And it's Cable. Cable shows up, and so Cable is trying to warn them, like, evacuate everyone now, turn down the music, you know, get we gotta get out of here. And then she realizes, like, oh wait, look at your eyes, this is my son from the future, you know. So like we get this really nice, very, very quick moment of like recognition of like what happens, like the son they just gave up is here, it's Cable, he's alive, he made it, he's fine. And then immediately everything goes wrong. Cable gets like pulled back into the future for some reason, and approaching is this giant Godzilla kaiju sized Sentinel. It's, you know, this is not just like Master Mold or something. This is like a monster, crazy beast monster. It's unclear where this thing came from, but this is insane, right? And this thing is just decimating everything. It's got like way more powerful lasers than any Sentinel's ever had, and like it just has little Sentinels popping off of it, like normal sized Sentinels are just like little tiny guys just rocketing down. So like this is a war machine meant to devastate this entire thing. And we get just some of the coolest action I've seen like in a while, and it's all coming from this animated show. And this, like, no joke, this could have been an animated movie in the movie theater. I would have watched this in the movie theaters. I would have paid that $20 and be like, I'll sit down and I'll watch this, because this is crazy. We just get such a cool combination of different powers, you know, Nightcrawler's like teleporting everywhere, Magneto's doing his thing, Gambit's doing his thing, and you know, they're all trying to save people, and they're all like having these real cool heroic moments. And then basically Magneto gets beat up a little, right? Like an explosion happens, and it's unclear if Magneto's actually dead or not. You know, we hear the Sentinel go like, mutant terminated, you know, and Rogue's like loses her mind, she's like, rah! You know, and then Gambit's like, wait, I'm gonna save you, right? So Gambit stops her from doing her whole thing, like her whole rage attack that she's about to do, because she's probably gonna get hit by a laser and die herself. So Gambit instead, he goes in for like this heroic, like, you know, jump attack that he's gonna do on this giant kaiju sized Sentinel, and then he gets stabbed, and it was crazy. And I was like, you know, you can kind of see it coming because everyone's having these cool heroic action moments, and you're like, something horrible's gonna happen. Obviously Cable came back from the future to try and stop this, so like, you know, some shit's gonna go down. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if anyone's pointed this out, a little bit earlier in the episode, like right when the night festivities start, if you pause, there's a scene in the sky. You can see the Watcher's face. And when I saw that, I had to like rewind it because I'm like, is that the Watcher in the sky? Which is like a very clear sign in Marvel that like shit's about to go down. And here it is. So basically Gambit is stabbed, he's in the air, and then Sentinel's like, mutant terminated, right? And Gambit's like, oh, you're gonna remember this. And he activate because he's like touching the Sentinel with his giant spike that stabbed him. So he's touching it and he charges the whole thing with the kinetic energy, and the whole thing explodes in this crazy explosion. And you know, he might have, I mean, who knows, maybe that actually did more harm than good, I don't know. But in any case, it's destroyed and it's all over the news and so much wreckage, and it's unclear like what characters are even alive. And you got the Beast and everyone in the mansion just watching this on the news. Oh man, it was crazy. It was, and that's just where it ends. Like, so like I said, this could have been the end of the season. Like that could have been like a season ending cliffhanger, because that was nuts. Like just all of that, you know, like it was doing so great with its like soap opera drama and like all its relationships, and everything's really complicated right now and everyone's fighting with each other, and then it just divulges into like the craziest action ever. Just like the greatest mutant Sentinel, just it was like a war movie, you know, like it just turned into that. And I was like, geez, man, like the last 10 minutes of this episode is just like, oh, by the way, you know. Yeah, really great stuff. Just, I am so impressed with this show, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know how any kind of live action X-Men would ever live up to this at this point. Like, I know we got Deadpool coming out and that's gonna be cool, but like seeing stuff like this happen, I'm like, man, any live action team that they try to put together, they're gonna have to do a lot of work to get to like this level of drama, this level of like epic action and delivery, and when someone dies, you really goddamn care. You know, you're like, no, Gambit, no. You know, and yeah, it's, oh man, crazy stuff. Anyways, so let me know what you guys think about episode 5 of X-Men 97. Is how many, who's dead? You know, like Gambit, it seemed, you know, it would feel cheap if they pulled that back. So Gambit, I'm pretty sure, is legitimately gone, you know. It's possible Magneto's gone, but it's more likely that Magneto's gonna be like in a, you know, like, oh, he's in a coma for 2 days, like he's all injured, you know. And I'm sure a bunch of other characters are definitely gone for sure. A bunch of like side mutants, a bunch of those like, what are the ones that like live in the sewers? A bunch of them are probably gone. Yeah, just really crazy stuff. And of course it's still a mystery of like, so who sent this? Because it felt like we kind of took care of everyone who was doing all the Sentinel stuff. Obviously not. Like someone's out there. Is it Sinister? Like who's doing this? Is Apocalypse still around? I don't even know. Where did we leave off with Apocalypse? Where's he at? So I just, wow, crazy stuff. And by the way, before I leave, what is the clone Jean's name? She gave herself a name. I can't remember it for some reason. It bothers me. Anyways, yeah, that was nuts. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about episode 5. Where do we go from here? All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.